See, the Vols defeat Duke. We get the call on Westwood One on the NCAA Radio Network.
Rebound, Filipowski. 5 seconds. He jogged it up. The final seconds fade. The horn hits 3 ball at the buzzer, an air ball. Tennessee staggered into the NCAA tournament, but is on to the Sweet 16. The Volunteers down Duke 65-52.
Number 2. Well, who had the Princeton Tigers in their bracket going to the Sweet 16? Princeton is on its way to the Sweet 16 after cruising past Missouri. We get the call again from Westwood One and the NCAA Radio Network.
Clock running down to 3, down to 2, down to 1. This one is over. It's official. It is history for the Princeton Tigers. For the first time in school history, Princeton is going to the Sweet 16. Just the 4th 15 seed ever in the history of the tournament to advance to the round of 16. Princeton 78, Missouri 63. The Princeton magic continues. The Tigers will play on in the South region.
Number 1. There will be a new champion in the NCAA tournament. Kansas is out. Arkansas takes down the Jayhawks in dramatic fashion. We get the final call from Westwood One on the NCAA Radio Network.
Inbound pass comes to Arkansas. Bounce to Black. No foul. And Arkansas survives. The defending champs do not. 72-71. They'll be calling the Hogs all night in Des Moines. The 8th seed knocks out the returning champion Jayhawks.
How about that? WBC Jose Altuve left Venezuela's quarterfinal against the U.S. Hit on the hand by Daniel Bard. Stroh said they'll provide an update later today. How about what happened in the game?
Here's the 0-2. Swinging a fly ball. Left field. Deep. Did he do it? Grand slam! Trey Turner has just delivered a grand slam.
WBC Radio Network, how about that? Trey Turner, an 8th inning grand slam. U.S. beats Venezuela 9-7, reaching the semis against Cuba later tonight. NHL, Artemi Panarin scores twice. Rangers rout the Pens 6-0. David Pastrnak is 47th. Bruins by the Wild 5-2. Evander Kane, Sebastian Aho, Brandon Hagel, hat tricks and wins for the Oilers, Canes, and Lightning. Coming up, the defending champs are out of the men's NCAA tournament. We'll tell you how Kansas got bounced, and another 15 seed is on to the Sweet 16. That's next. This is ESPN Radio.
Coming up Monday, as we get closer to the NBA playoffs, I'll tell you which teams need to pick up the pace, or else it'll be a quick exit. Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max, Monday morning at 6 a.m. Eastern on ESPN Radio, E2, and ESPNU.
The top headlines are next on Sports.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-385-9302 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-385-9302. That's 800-385-9302. What do you have to lose? Call 800-385-9302. Again, 800-385-9302.
It's important to plan ahead for emergencies, like the storm. When it kicked in, we had a plan.
Separated.
We were able to get in touch with each other in no time.
I had no idea how to find each other.
My husband kept the kids
tried
occupied.
calling our son, but there was no reception. Everything was down. I felt like breaking
we handled
down and
everything
crying,
very
but
well.
I had to try and stay calm.
The whole experience was fine.
the most frightening 10 hours of my life. It was kind of like
a little family adventure.
Every mother hopes will never happen to her.
I remember the relief of being together.
I realized he was out there all alone.
If there's one piece of advice I'd offer other moms out there, it's to stay calm and keep to the plan.
Some parents plan ahead, some don't. Make sure you know where to find your family in an emergency. Start your plan at ready.gov. A public service announcement brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
Hey, America, we are your pets, and this song's dedicated to those people who don't have health insurance yet.
In Raw, we say we want you to be okay. In Raw, we say take care of people for goodness sake. There's a plan for every budget, so don't accept defeat. Now you can get covered and still buy me treats. And roll! So listen to me, a talking pug, you see. If you get health insurance, preventive care is now free. So sweet.
You take care of your pets. Now it's their turn to take care of you. Visit getcoveredamerica.org to learn about your health insurance options. That's getcoveredamerica.org.
And take care, people.
Brought to you by Get Covered America and the Ad Council.
Take a look under your bed. Find stuff under there? What about jobs? No? Now try your basement. There's a pair of overalls that overall you're not so into anymore. A perfectly good laptop that hasn't seen your lap in months. And even more stuff, but still no jobs? Well, you really have both. See, stuff is defined as household articles considered as a group. Sometimes this stuff is no longer needed. Wait, no longer needed? That can't be right. Because remember those jobs you were looking for? Those are really needed. And they're the stuff inside your stuff. Even inside that winter coat that moved with you to Phoenix. Our job is to unlock those jobs. And it starts when you donate your stuff to your local Goodwill. Here's how we do it. When you donate to Goodwill, we sell your stuff to provide job training for people right here in your community. So just by teaming up with Goodwill, you help create jobs. And isn't that worth parting with the leftover guitar from your 80s cover band? Goodwill. Donate stuff, create jobs. Find your nearest donation center at goodwill.org. A message from Goodwill and the Ad Council.
From the Old National Bank State Street studio, this is Chicago's home for sports.
WMPP WSHE HD2 Chicago.
A Good Karma Brands radio station.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Beyond Sports. I am Hannah Stanley, your host, as I am every single week. And I am so happy always to learn more things and have conversations that help me to learn, and also I hope help you guys to learn as well. Today, joining me in this next person, not only to fill that role, but also to enhance the department and grow the department. So that's important.
Our hope is that you're on the right bus, or you're finding the right bus.
Another number one seed goes down. He stares at Grady Dick. He lobs it for Walsh, right of the circle, springing for three. It's Cash and a lead for Arkansas. He took that one with grand confidence.
Can Princeton keep its Cinderella story alive?
Here's it into a wall on the left corner, splits a double team, works his way to the paint, kicks it out. Peters tees up another three. He got it again.
The Warriors and Grizzlies rivalry headline the NBA tonight.
Bain from the top, drives it, Euro step by Kuminga, lays it up and in. Bain's got 26. Steve Kerr has seen enough. Grizzlies by 14.
This is Sports in a Moment.
The 8th seed knocks out the returning champion Jayhawks.
Here's Jim Basquiat.
Yeah, 15 seed is again a winner, while a 1 is again done. Big Dan showing why it's madness in March. Welcome to Sports Center All Night on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app. ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. We have plenty ahead in the show, like the night in the NBA, where MVP favorites were in play, but we tip it off with another one on the ropes. This time, the defending champs. Consider Florida in 06 and 07, the last back-to-back NCAA tournament champs. That's what Kansas was looking to do this year. And consider the
LA's mega sports station.
710 ESPN.
Saturday, they were up 8 at the break against 8 seed Arkansas. but the Hogs came roaring back.
He stares at Grady Dick. He lobs it for Walsh, right of the circle, springing for three. It's Cash and a lead for Arkansas. He took that one with grand confidence, and it's 52-51 Hogs.
That capped an 11-0 run, first lead for Arkansas since 2-0. Then with the game tied at 65, the Hogs crashed the glass.
Screen from Johnson, high on the right counsel, crossover dribble, fires for two, around and out from the elbow. Offensive rebound follow is good for Johnson. Arkansas by 2, 50.5 to go from the low right. Kamani Johnson with 4 fouls.
You heard 2-point lead, under a minute to go. Kansas then needed to miss a free throw to get a rebound, to get a putback, to get the game tied, but they hit that free throw. So this is how it wound down.
Inbound pass comes to Arkansas, bounce to Black, no foul, and Arkansas survives. The defending champs do not. 72-71. They'll be calling the Hogs all night in Des Moines. The 8th seed knocks out the returning champion Jayhawks.
How about that? Westwood One NCAA Radio Network with the calls. Kansas national title defense ending in the second round. Ricky Council made 5 free throws in the closing seconds as the Razorbacks beat the number 1 seed Kansas 72-71. Devontae Davis was huge before fouling out at 25 points, 21 in the second half, and really he kept them afloat. Council adding 21 as Arkansas rallied from a dozen down in the second half. Kansas became the second top seed to not escape the tournament's first weekend after Purdue lost on Friday night to FDU. Arkansas coach Eric Musselman returning to the Sweet 16 for a third straight year. This was Musselman postgame.
Well, I've been coaching a long time. That's as great a win as I've ever been a part of. Again, because of the history of Kansas, because of some of their veteran players that were part of a championship team last year. A lot of people didn't think we were going to win our first round game. And I've continued to tell the guys internally, and I've continued to tell the staff that we are a team that continues to get better. That just doesn't happen this time of year, but because of all the circumstances that have happened, we're still evolving. We're still adding offensive plays. We're still adding defensive coverages. We're an evolving basketball team. I feel fortunate that these guys really buy into the prep.
And on the rise, Kansas without their Hall of Fame coach Bill Self, who underwent a heart procedure on March 8th. He had been with the team in Des Moines, but longtime assistant Norm Roberts served as acting coach over that 5-game stretch. Roberts on his thoughts on the loss.
It was a tough game, a battle. Give Arkansas a lot of credit. They did a great job in the second half attacking us. Davis played out of this world, really made a lot of shots, but we knew he was good at doing that. And then they really hurt us on the glass. We had some rebounds we need to get. We didn't get them, but give them credit. They played very well in the second half.
And no question about that. Grady Dick had just 7 points. Big 12 Player of the Year Jalen Wilson took just 9 shots. SEC Network analyst and former Arkansas player Pat Bradley was on prime time on what this win means for the Hogs.
It's just great to see when a team or a person or a player puts it together and realizes their potential. And that was a great Kansas team coming off of a national championship, obviously. But it's just, you love to see people reach their potential. And, I know it's just a second round win, but given the inconsistency and some of the injuries and things this team had to go through, it's a gigantic win for them this year.
And he also had this on what the Razorbacks have on that sideline in Musselman.
He's got that sixth sense of, like, which guy to throw in at the right time, which substitutions to make. And I played for Coach Nolan Richardson, and Coach would always say when he was about to make a substitution in a big game, he would walk down the bench, he would look everybody in the eye, and whoever looked back at him, he could see in the eyes who was ready. So the great ones know people and know which ones are ready, and that's why they're making millions, man. Because their decisions. Their gut decisions are usually correct, and Muss has that.
Princeton Magic is alive and well. The Princeton Tigers upset Arizona 15-2.
this group did something special for its university, for the fans, for the former players, and for one another.
Save it in bounds, goes to Larson. Up to Creaser. Creaser fading three for the top. Left side of the rim, no. Grabbed by Awoma, and Awoma is fouled.
Maybe an upset on paper and to the country, but it is not to us.
Sound courtesy of Westwood One NCAA Radio Network.
Yeah, with Princeton's win over Arizona, 15 seed had beaten a 2 in 3 consecutive NCAA tournaments. Each of the previous 2 had advanced to the Sweet 16. So that's the challenge the Tigers had with another group of Tigers in the way, those from Mizzou.
Gets it into a wall on the left corner, splits a double team, works his way to the paint, kicks it out. Peters tees up another three. He got it again. Third three of the half for Blake Peters. He's got 9, a 10-0 Princeton run.
And Blake Peters made 5 threes in the second half. They hit a dozen from deep as a team.
Langborg against Donner, dribbling right, trying to turn the corner on Brown. Can't do it. Steps back, shoots the three instead and hit it. That's 20 for Ryan Langborg. And Princeton leads by 18, 59-41.
You heard that right. Princeton, a 15 seed, up by 18 second half. They finished the job.
Clock running down to 3, down to 2, down to 1. This one is over. It's official. It is history for the Princeton Tigers. For the first time in school history, Princeton is going to the Sweet 16. Just the 4th 15 seed ever in the history of the tournament to advance to the round of 16. Princeton 78, Missouri 63. The Princeton magic continues. The Tigers will play on in the South region.
They will indeed. Westwood One, the NCAA Radio Network with those calls. Princeton shocks another Power 5 conference team, reaching the regional semifinals for the first time in 56 years, beating Mizzou 78-63. Was a thumping. The 15 seed followed up their first round win over the Pac-12 tourney champs in Arizona by dominating the 10 seed Missouri. From the start, their coach, Mitch Henderson, on reaching the round of 16.
This started for us 3 years ago. We took the season off for COVID, came back. Ryan and Tosan were contributors as freshmen, but sophomore hit their junior years. We had a terrific team a year ago. We lost in the championship game. Didn't go to the NCAAs. We could barely watch the tournament, and we were finding out what we were with a new group. We lost 2 first team. We lost some all Ivy guys, and this group is really, really confident.
Yeah, Princeton reaching the round of 16 for the first time since 1967, when only 23 teams even made the tournament. It's the 3rd straight year a 15 seed has advanced at the tournament's opening weekend and the 4th all time. The 15-point win was the most lopsided by a 15 seed in tournament history. Tigers controlled the game the entire way. What does it mean to reach this round? Henderson, again, post-game.
I've always dreamed of playing deep into the tournament. As a player, got to the second round a couple times, never got beyond it. So I feel like these guys is unbelievable.
Yeah, Missouri was seeking its first berth in the Sweet 16 since 2009, but they're bounced by a 15. Sean Farnham on just how far Princeton might be able to go.
You take a look at who they've beaten and how they've played in the first 2 rounds. It really is remarkable. They dominated this game today on the glass. They were plus 14. They were plus 17 in second chance points. This Princeton Tigers team is tough. They are physical. They play together. They execute. They know how to share the basketball. They're everything that you need to continue to advance in this field. And when you can beat an offense that's as efficient as Arizona's been all season long, and to hold them the way that they did, and then come and play against a team like Missouri that scrambles defensively, creates turnovers, creates opportunities off those turnovers, and have that same level of success, there's no reason to believe that the journey will stop even next week. I think that they have a legitimate chance to make the Elite Eight.
Another top seed, the Houston Cougars, appeared to be a cat that was cornered and perhaps hurt, as their best player, Marcus Sasser, sat out the second half of their opening round win, nursing that sore groin in advance of their game against Auburn. Seth Greenberg had this on the importance of needing Sasser.
They don't have Marcus Sasser. They're not a Final Four team, just plain and simple. The guy's a closer. He's a guy at the end of the game that can get a stop. He's a guy at the end of the game that can get you a bucket. He's a guy at the end of the game that can get in the lane and get someone else an easy shot. If you take him and Shed away, Houston has problems. No matter how good their culture is, no matter how hard they play, no matter how well they rebound the ball, You can't lose guys like that or have two guys like that aren't playing up to their potential because of injury and expect to win.
Well, he played and played well from the jump.
So Sasser scored the first 6 points, marked the last 6. Sasser stops and pops, and a 3 rattles down from the top of the key. Sasser already has 9, and the Houston lead is 5.
Yeah, quick 9 had him up 15-10, but they were down 10 at the break, and there was another player that picked up the slack second half.
Mark from the left elbow, shot in the air and good. Mark is having himself a game. He's got a dozen. We're tied at 50. Tremont Mark gets in the lane, puts up another left-handed shot. He got it again. He's taken over. He's got 14, and the Houston lead is 4.
Huge was Tremont Mark. Marcus Sasser looked just fine, scoring 22. Top seed Houston stifled Auburn in the second half, 81-64. Again, down 10 at the break, outscored Auburn 50-23 in that second half. They played with desperation of a national championship contender and got it done after the break. Mark 26 points. Houston advancing to face either Indiana or Miami in the Midwest Region Finals in Kansas City, Missouri on Friday. Sasser, the AAC Conference Player of the Year, went to the bench with 4 fouls, and it was Mark that thrived in isolation late. Sasser on how he felt early.
It was, real big just to get my confidence going. I ain't been really going live in practice, so just to get that, that game feeling, real early, it was good. And I feel like it helped me throughout the game, so it was good to hit my first couple shots.
And no doubt, and they got a lift from his presence. Tigers were done in by a stretch of more than 10.5 minutes without a field goal. Finished just 4 of 24 from the field in the second half. Houston coach Kelvin Sampson on the difference of both halves.
First half, Auburn played up on their toes. We were getting downhill. Broom was ducking us in. The way we play, it's obviously not very evident in the first half. I thought we were playing hard, but I didn't think we were competing. There's a big difference in playing hard versus competing. But at halftime, we made a couple adjustments. I don't think anything major. I think the biggest adjustment was in our attitude. Sometimes that's the most important thing. I was almost glad it was Auburn's ball first. I thought we needed to set the tone with the stop. And then just play the way we played all year. We have a good team.
Again, just 4 makes for Auburn in the second half. Coming up, Duke looks for their 11th straight win, but Tennessee had a little something for the Blue Devils, and Joel Embiid again shines while the Warriors' road woes continue. NBA on the way when SportsCenter All Night returns. This is ESPN Radio.
Coming up Monday with Aaron Rodgers heading out of the NFC, is Jalen Hurts the best quarterback in the NFC? And where would you rank Dak Prescott? Keyshawn J. Will and Max. Monday morning, 6 Eastern, ESPN Radio, ESPN2, ESPNU.
This is SportsCenter All Night.
Wake up with Key, J. Will, and Max.
Nobody does LA mornings like KJM.
The wines that I was drinking are not old. When you go to tastings, you're getting the 18, 19, 20, 21 stage, depending on when the crops grew, and they
depending on when the crops grew. That's you full of bougie information. What are you?
Depending on when the crops grew.
LA mornings with LA's own Keyshawn.
Monday morning till 10 a.m.
on 710 ESPN.
In the jungle, the mighty jungle, the sheep sleep tonight. Oh, in the jungle, the quiet jungle, the sheep sleep tonight. Oh,
It just isn't the same without the lion. Join the San Diego Zoo Wildlife Alliance today. Visit sdzwa.org.
Every year across America, a staggering 4.2 million youth are homeless or trafficked. Covenant House is the national leader providing safe housing for youth, 50 years strong. Help us fight youth homelessness. Go to covenanthouse.org.
Every second counts in a poison emergency. That's why Poison Help is standing by 24/7 to provide free assistance in over 100 languages. Save Poison Help as a contact in your phone today. Poison Help, 1-800-222-1222.
At Progressive, we love sports and saving you money, so we bundled them together.
The final horse now in the gate, and they're off. They're starting off with a double toe loop jump, leaving a difficult 7-10 split. As there's movement on the inside rail. Only 9 pins separate them now to head to the final quarter mile. They're neck and neck. It's down to the last frame. Here comes the axle jump. They bundled their home and auto insurance with Progressive. Win, strike, savings gold.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers. Discount not available in all states or situations.
Attorney Joe Cordell. Divorce forces a father to focus on what's most important, his children. You may no longer be a husband, but you'll always be a dad. In the divorce process, this comes down to 3 key concerns: physical custody, decision-making, as well as financial support. Each of these is important, and it's important that you choose a lawyer that cares as much about these issues as you do.
1455 Frazee Road, Suite 1050, San Diego, California, 92108. CordellCordell.com.
Transitioning out of the military is difficult. Just about everything around you changes. I would get phone calls that brothers were dying, and some of them to suicide. And I found myself in another cold cemetery. And I started to wonder if I was next. It's a struggle to know that you're facing challenges, but not be ready to face them. Sleep doesn't come easy. And when it comes, it doesn't last long. You're tired all the time. I didn't reach out for that help, but thank God my wife did. She got me registered for Wounded Warrior Project. Talking to somebody that would listen to me and understood my story helped me realize that it was time to change. There's a new fight. There's a new mission, and that's something I am eternally grateful for.
See how we help warriors combat stigma at woundedwarriorproject.org/combat stigma.
This is your captain. We are going to be experiencing some slight turbulence. Please fasten your... Oh, hold on. Just got a video of my cat.
Imagine the pilot of an airplane was as confident as you are texting and driving. Seems kind of crazy when you put it like that.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max in the morning on LA's mega sports station. LA Sports Talk all day long. 710 ESPN.
This is Sports Center all night on ESPN Radio and on the ESPN app. Here's Jim Basketball.
Yeah, we're back on Sports Center all night with more March Madness. The eye test that told us that Duke was rolling with a clear path to the Final Four, riding a 10-game winning streak into Saturday's matchup with Tennessee. Then the Vols got physical and beat up Duke like they haven't been in some time. They also got some offense and got the job done.
Rebound, Filipowski, 5 seconds. He jogged it up. The final seconds fade. The horn hits 3 ball at the buzzer, and air ball. Tennessee staggered into the NCAA tournament, but is on to the Sweet 16. The Volunteers down Duke 65-52.
As good a defensive effort as you'll see in some time. Westwood won the NCAA radio network with that final call. The 4-seed Tennessee beating Duke 65-52, holding the Blue Devils to just 52 points. They advance to the Sweet 16 for the first time since 2019. They'll face the Florida Atlantic FDU winner on Thursday in New York City. Their coach, Rick Barnes.
Right from the beginning, I felt our guys were really locked in, and when you got a day in between and you play the late game like we did, obviously we got back yesterday and came in, but from the time we walked in this building yesterday, I could just sense our guys were going to be really locked in. They knew what was at stake and what they were playing for.
And again, the Vols ended Duke's 10-game winning streak, sent first-year coach John Shire home after just 2 NCAA tournament games. Shire on his team's season coming to an end.
These guys are champions next to me. They're ACC champions. They have 27 wins. They've had a really good year. And I think I speak for all these guys. They can tell you if they feel differently, but we expected to be in this position. That's what we wanted. And that's why these guys chose to come here. And, you want to be in a position where you have a chance. We're playing to go to a Sweet 16 against a great team. And so it's hard to reflect fully right now, but I do know I'm proud I'm grateful for these guys that they've stuck with it and just they made the decision to come here and come back and all that. But it hurts in the moment right now.
Man, his team looked awfully good in that ACC tournament, no doubt about it, in year one for Shire. You're listening to SportsCenter All Night on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app. In the NBA, Joel Embiid is playing like he wants his first MVP.
He backs it out to the logo. Now it's at 8. Niang lobs it inside for Embiid. Too easy, missed it. Puts it in with the right-hand tap. Closing in on 30. 28 for Embiid, 101-84. Sixers lead increasing.
As 97.5, the Fanatics, Joel Embiid, Tyrese Maxey, each with 31. Sixers rout the Pacers 141-121. That matches their season high with an 8th straight win. The Knicks got their point guard back.
Game tied at 108, 3:10 remaining in the fourth. Caldwell Pope for Jokic. Jokic has the ball taken away by Robinson. So Nikola Jokic loses possession. Knicks have the ball. Game tied. Brunson into the paint. Looks to draw a foul. Puts it up over Jokic. It's good.
That's 98.7 ESPN New York. Jalen Brunson, 24 in that return from a left foot injury. Knicks 116-110 over the Western Conference leaders from Denver. Knicks improved to 42-30. Guarantees just their second winning season in the last 10 campaigns. Nikola Jokic, 24 points, 10 rebounds, 8 assists, but the Nuggets lost for the 5th time in 6 games.
Westbrook has it, attacking the rim. Wendell sends it back. Westbrook's got nothing on Wendell, and here comes Fultz. Can he capitalize? Defender bounces off Markelle. The finger roll is up and in, and the Magic lead is 7.
FM 96.9 the game. Markelle Fultz scored 12 of his 28 in the fourth. Wendell Carter, 27 points, a dozen boards. Orlando snapped its 2-game skid, 113-108 over the Clippers, while Lauri Markkanen scored 28. Walker Kessler, a game-saving block. The Jazz, 118-117 over the Celtics. They overcame a 19-point deficit to stay in the thick of the Western Conference playoff race.
Bane crosses the timeline. DiVincenzo gets in the defensive crouch. Bane walking towards the center of the floor at the top of the arc. Comes to the right side. Attacks from the wing right. Kicks it back behind him to Jones. Jones with 8 on the shot clock. Peering in. Around a Jackson screen. Jackson slips it to the top. Jones finds him. 3 on the way. Ring it up. Put 3 on the board for Jaren Jackson Jr. And Tyus Jones has tied his career high with his 14th assist.
And Jaren Jackson Jr. had 31, 4 blocks as well. Memphis used a fourth quarter push to down Golden State 133-119. Desmond Bane added 26 for the Grizz. How about the Warriors? 7-29 on the road.
Beverly to Kobe. Kobe on the pump. Kobe double on the ball. Cross court DeRozan. Sides up. Left side three. Yes! Back-to-back checks by the Bulls. And they lead 104-94.
At 670, the score, DeMar DeRozan. And coming off that 49-point game, adds 24. Chicago by Miami, 113-99. Kobe White and Zach LaVine each had 18 for the winners. Domantas Sabonis, 30 points, 9 rebounds, 9 assists. Sacramento beating Washington 132-118 with 6 hitting for double figures. The Kings have won 11 of their last 13, 7 straight on the road. And Pascal Siakam had 27 points, 10 rebounds. Toronto extending its season high home winning streak to 7, besting Minnesota. That final was 122-107. Anthony Edwards again out after suffering the ankle sprain a night ago. Coming up, we revisit Arkansas rallying from a dozen down to beat the champs. More March Madness ahead. This is SportsCenter All Night on ESPN Radio.
Hey, it's Greeny, and it's as good a time as you could possibly have on the sports calendar. We've got NFL free agency fast and furious, and the madness of March is upon us. This will be the place to talk about it. It's Greeny, starting 10 a.m. Eastern on ESPN Radio.
Wake up with Key, J. Will, and Max.
Nobody does L.A. mornings like KJM.
Do you like boiled hot dogs?
Why not just throw it on the frying pan or in a toaster oven or something even, you know?
You know the way boiled hot dogs look, though? All the grease or whatever it was.
Used to do weird stuff like
to
that.
The top.
Yeah.
My mom fed me boiled hot dogs and top ramen. I tell my mom, you should be thrown in jail for that. Come on, man.
L.A. mornings with L.A.'s own Keyshawn.
Monday morning till 10 a.m.
on 710 ESPN.
Put a frog in a pot of boiling water and it'll jump right out. But put a frog in a pot of cool water and slowly heat it up, that frog will boil. As a metaphor for us and all that we go through as veterans, it's a story that rings true. We learn to endure the heat in silence. We apply what we learn to life, the bills, the job, the family. things we're expected to handle with ease. When life heats up around us, we just try to stay afloat. We let the water boil. Reaching out isn't easy, but you've never been interested in easy. You join because you are not afraid of hard work. You are not a frog. If you or a veteran you know needs support, don't wait until the water boils. Reach out. Find resources at va.gov/reach. That's va.gov/reach. Brought to you by the United States Department of Veterans Affairs and the Ad Council.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-385-9302 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-385-9302. That's 800-385-9302. What do you have to lose? Call 800-385-9302. Again, 800-385-9302.
Dispatch to all units, stand by to copy a general broadcast.
The Riverside County Sheriff's Department is hiring for 911 dispatch, correctional deputy trainee, deputy sheriff trainee, and other support positions. Do you have what it takes to respond to the call? Apply today at joinrsd.org to begin your exciting career with the Riverside County Sheriff's Department. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram and Facebook at JoinRSD. That's JoinRSD, the Riverside County Sheriff's Department, service above self.
The Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council present the story of Tom and Levi.
Tom is the smartest man I know. He's been a professor at 2 major universities, been a teacher for over 40 years. One day, he told me that he was having problems in his classes. I think one of the students had asked the question and he didn't remember the answer. I also noticed that he was letting his class out earlier than they were supposed to let out. And he was telling them that he was doing it as a favor to them, but I think in reality, he just wanted to get out of there. I was really starting to worry because I saw something was wrong.
Levi and I talked about how it would change our lives, but he was there beside me, and my love for him was just immense.
When something feels different, it could be Alzheimer's. Now is the time to talk. Visit alz.org/our stories to learn more. A message from the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max in the morning.
LA Sports Talk all day long. 710 ESPN. This is Sports Center all night on ESPN Radio and on the ESPN app. Here's Jim Basquil.
And ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. Drivers who switch and save with Progressive save nearly $700 on average.
Half-hour headlines on Sports Center all night.
Again, our top stories. Another one is done as the defending champion Kansas Jayhawks are taken out. It's the Hogs of Arkansas that do the deed. A 15 seed is on to the Sweet 16 again. This time it's Princeton. Houston gets Marcus Sasser back, and the Cougars dominate in the second half against Auburn. And Duke's 10-game win streak is over as the Vols defense stifles the Blue Devils.
And Arkansas survives. The defending champs do not.
Well, I've been coaching a long time. That's as great a win as I've ever been a part of.
He lobs it for Walsh, right of the circle, springing for three. It's Cash and a lead for Arkansas. The 8th seed knocks out the returning champion Jayhawks.
Sound courtesy of Westwood One NCAA Radio Network.
Yeah, Kansas's national title defense ended. Arkansas beating the top seed Jayhawks 72-71. Devontae Davis had 25-21 in the second half before fouling out. Ricky Council then took it from there, had 21 as the Hogs rallied from a 12-point second half deficit. You might have seen post-game Eric Musselman tearing off his shirt and celebrating with the crowd. SEC analyst and former Razorback Pat Bradley on Muss's post-game joy.
I think that's something that he actually used to do at Nevada, and he's done an excellent job of figuring out sort of how to toe the line between being, that the coach, X's and O's, doing what you have to do, but also bringing a level of excitement to the fans and even, for the players, really. I mean, he's known for being on social media, taking pictures, and so I think that's part of his personality. He's a very intense person, and he buys, like, for him and for all these coaches, it's 24/7. But I think he wears it on his sleeve, although he wouldn't wear a shirt, but he wears it on his sleeve a little bit more than most coaches do.
Yeah, Bradley was on prime time. Kansas without their Hall of Fame coach Bill Self, who underwent a heart procedure March 8th. Norm Roberts served as the acting coach over the final 5 games, but they won't defend their title. Sean Farnham on the Hogs rallying to beat the champs.
I equate it to losing Nick Saban off the sideline for Alabama for a football game. Yes, the assistants and Norm Roberts did a great job, and they understand how to run things, but there's a messaging. There's a tone that is set. There's a pulse of understanding what button to push for your team, and I think the Kansas Jayhawks missed that in the Big 12 tournament championship game against Texas, and I think they missed it today. I mean, let's give credit, though, to Arkansas. Bill Self being on the sideline or not on the sideline had very little to do with the 15-2 advantage and second chance points for the Arkansas Razorbacks, the aggressive nature in which the Razorbacks played. But could he stop some of those runs? Could he slow down Ricky Council? Those are Devo Davis. Could he get him out of a rhythm and flow and make adjustments there? They might have been a little bit different.
The answer was no on all counts there. Another 1 seed is alive and well.
Hart steals the pass. It's a 3-on-2 for Maryland. Young goes up, rejected by Miller. Here comes Alabama left to right. Sears will stop. Kick it across the way to Miller for 3. He got it.
Yeah, Brendan Miller looked just fine after nursing that groin, being held scoreless in the Tide's first tourney win. He was sharp in this one. That 3-ball had him up 10, and they finished what they started.
Alabama walks it up. Final seconds tick away. The Crimson Tide rolling on to the Sweet 16. They take care of Maryland 73-51, and they do it just 55 miles from their campus in Tuscaloosa here in Birmingham. They control the second half. They run away with a 22-point victory, and they are just 2 victories away from their first ever Final Four. It will be their 10th Sweet 16 appearance.
That's thanks to the Westwood One NCAA Radio Network. Brandon Miller got it done. They avoid the fate of 2 other 1 seeds as Alabama beats Maryland 73-51. Dominant second half. They advance to their second Sweet 16 in the past 3 tourneys. 9th overall. Javon Quinterly, 22 points. Miller, 19 as they coasted to the finish line in this one. How about another 2?
Hunter runs right to left along the end line, gets it in for Rice. He's double teamed, and he throws it over the top. Got it for Allen. 2-on-1 down the lane, finding Dessou. He scoops it up and in. The former Commodore, easy once again.
How good is Dylan Dessou? Westwood One NCAA Radio Network. He had a season-high 28 points. Texas advances to its first regional in 15 years, 71-66 over Penn State. The second-seeded Longhorns made just 1 of 13 shots from three-point land. But Dessou went to the mid-range. He went 5 for 5 over the final 4.5 minutes, grabbed 10 boards as well. Texas will play the Pitt Xavier winner on Friday in the Midwest Region semifinals. Longhorns forward Timmy Allen postgame.
I think it starts with the habits we build daily, the league we play in, the best league in the country. We've been battle tested time and time again. This was nothing new. When we got down there, there was no shake, no bend. We just went back to what we do, what we prepped for. We knew it wasn't going to be easy. We talked about how there was going to be a time today where we have to go through adversity and how we have to get over that hump, and we did that. A ton of guys stepped up. Complete total group effort. Obviously, Dylan had a special night, another special night, I should probably say. But on the defensive end, guys came in off the bench with great energy and just impacted, rebounding the ball. I mean, complete team effort. 1 goal, winning, and we're just glad we got that done.
Yeah, no doubt about it. That's 1 second seed. This another.
Singleton grabs it off to Campbell. Ortiz is down behind the play. Campbell racing into the front court. Here's Singleton, right wing three. Got it.
Yeah, that's David Singleton from beyond the arc. Had UCLA up a half dozen against Northwestern. He went down in pain with a right leg injury with about 20 seconds to go. Had to be helped off. No word on the exact extent, but he thinks it's not too serious as UCLA advance.
Andrews dribbles down the right side. 3 seconds left. Northwestern will not foul. Back to Tiger Campbell. There's the horn. And for a third consecutive year, the UCLA Bruins are going to the Sweet 16. The Bruins will head back to Vegas. 68-63, the final score.
Westwood 1, NC2A Radio Network. Jaime Jaquez Jr. scored 24. UCLA withstood a second-half push from Northwestern. Get back to that Sweet 16, 68-63. Second-seeded Bruins held the Wildcats to 1 of 12 shooting during a key stretch in that second half. They made it to a third straight Sweet 16. For the first time in 15 years, Bruins play either Gonzaga or TCU in the West Region semifinals, and again in Las Vegas on Thursday night. Their coach, Mick Cronin.
Not really. I didn't think they'd go away. I watched them too much. I saw them play during the regular season because I root for Chris and Brian James. So, I have so much respect for Chris. He could have sat in Durham, North Carolina, and waited for Coach K to retire. And he said, "No, I'm gonna go. I'm from Chicago. I'm gonna go home and take the Northwestern job." And we're talking about a team that never been to the NCAA tournament. They hit some tough shots. Bowie hit a step back three. These hit some tough ones. And their hustle on the offensive glass really bothered us. So it didn't surprise me that they came back at us.
Beekman, rare pass, picked off by Heed. 5 seconds. The Geese, right wing for the win.
So as soon as I got the ball and I seen a shot attempt that I had, I knew that all I could do at that point was just rise up and shoot it. And I had full belief that it was going in, and it did.
The Furman Paladins shot Virginia and secure their first NCAA tournament win in 49 years.
Sound courtesy of Westwood 1 NCAA Radio Network.
Yeah, Furman, a 13, taking out a 4 seed in Virginia. The Cavs, a team known for their defense. Next up, though, for Furman, a 5 seed, and this time they couldn't overcome a team that was just throttled them on defense.
3 seconds. The final seconds. The horn arrives. The 5 seed San Diego State defeats Furman 75-52. The Aztecs are on to the Sweet 16 for the first time in nearly a decade.
Again, Westwood won that NCAA Radio Network. San Diego State had little trouble ending the run of March Madness from the darlings that are Furman, getting 16 points from Micah Parrish on pace, balanced scoring attack, pulling away 75-52. They're headed to their first Sweet 16 since 2004. The Aztecs having won 11 of their past 13 games. You're listening to SportsCenter All Night on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app.
I made it clear that my intention was to play, and my intention was to play for the New York Jets.
Do you envision yourself playing multiple years with the Jets, or is it just a one-year type thing?
If I'm Green Bay and I'm sitting around, you offer me a third or a contingent or a fifth, and if they have no leverage, that's all you should offer. If you're offering me that, I'm telling you to go to hell.
If the Jets don't get Aaron Rodgers, who are they turning to right now? The adults. Settle it clearly, keep the kids in mind, and move on.
Yeah, so Aaron Rodgers wants the Jets. The Packers are ready to turn the page on their longtime quarterback. So what is holding up a deal to New York for the quarterback? Rich Cimini covers the Jets for ESPN. He joined Darian Mel.
I think that is the crux of the issue. I mean, the Packers are asking for a first-round pick from what I understand, and the Jets don't want to part with it. And I get that because, you're talking about a player who's old, and he's basically on a year-to-year basis right now. So if you retire in a year and it costs you for one pick, that's an exorbitant price to pay. So I think the Jets absolutely do not want to part with that 13. Well, you just said, offensive tackle is probably one of their bigger needs. And so they have to get creative here, the two teams. They have to come up with something, probably some conditional picks, maybe some players involved to try to work through.
Yeah, I'm not sure I understand that. Why not give up a first-round pick for him and get him on your team? He's worth a first-round pick, right? It could take the Jets to another level. So who really does have leverage.
The two sides are not close, and right now it's a standoff.
If we get to the point of him still being on the roster as the season approaches, and then they try to move on from him, they're stuck.
They've already moved on to Jordan Love. His locker is cleaned out in Green Bay. Fine. There's no leverage there. I'm not saying that the scale is completely tipped over to the Packers side more than ever, but there is slight leverage that the Packers do have now that he's intended to play for the Jets, and he said it publicly.
Yeah, see, I believe Green Bay has the leverage if they want to exert that leverage. Jeremy Fowler joined Darian Mel.
The way they structure the contract, where the $58 million, you don't have to exercise it until week 1. So they can sit on things as is. They can say, hey, we're not going to sign a bunch of players in free agency anyways. We take our roster intact. We take Jordan Love, the incumbent quarterback, into April workouts as the guy, knowing Aaron Rodgers is sitting at home, technically still the Green Bay Packer, until the Jets give us what they want. That's their leverage on paper. Now, does that make a lot of logistical sense? No, it doesn't. So that's why I do expect something to get shaked out here between both sides to just come up with a compromise.
Breaking news from ESPN's Adam Schefter. The Ravens have placed the non-exclusive tag on quarterback Lamar Jackson.
This is more than just about money. The relationship between the Baltimore Ravens and Lamar Jackson isn't a relationship that is in a good place.
They're saying, all right, we can't find a compromise, so you go ahead and see if that deal's out there. And if it is, and you come back to us, maybe we'll match it. Maybe we'll say, you were right, we were wrong, and come back to us and everything will be fine.
The NFL offseason is always about quarterback storylines. The two quarterbacks that have the spotlight on them right now are Aaron Rodgers and Lamar Jackson. Jackson having been tagged by the Ravens. They're trying to work out a long-term deal. The guaranteed money is the hang-up as to why they haven't gotten it done. So what about a potential trade? Rob Ninkovich says this might be a dark horse team.
If you're the Patriots, and you go and you make an attempt to get Lamar, that changes everything, absolutely everything. And listen, I am a huge fan of just Lamar's style of game and what it puts on a defense, the stresses. And there's needs and wants, okay? A need is necessary for life. A want, it helps your quality of life. I don't need Lamar here, but I sure as heck want to see Lamar running around with a New England Patriot on his helmet, because if you see it out there, the Patriots instantly become division favorites, and to me, get right back into that Super Bowl hunt.
Yeah, that would be a huge pickup. You have to wonder what the ultimate cost would be. Perhaps those pair of twos. Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max talking NFL, talking March Madness, as by the time they're back on air, they'll be down to the Sweet 16. ESPN Radio, ESPN2, ESPNU, 6 to 10 a.m. Eastern on weekdays right here on ESPN Radio. Coming up, we size up the next challenge for 16-seed FDU. Have the night on ice. The night's top plays, and the USA gets a huge late granny to reach the WBC semis. Details ahead. This is SportsCenter All Night on ESPN Radio.
Coming up Monday, as NFL free agency heads into the second week, I'll give you my under-the-radar signing, Keyshawn, J. Will, and of course Max. Monday morning at 6 a.m. Eastern on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, ESPNU.
Or SportsCenter All Night. Next.
Travis and Sliwa on 710.
Travis Slee, live from LA Live.
But didn't everyone say, like, if we're not joking around, that means that we don't like
if
you?
We're not authentic.
We love you a lot, Alan.
That is made up BS. No, it's not. Yes, it is. No, that it's is not. Completely made up BS. If I just say, hey, how you doing? That's not good. I gotta tease you a little bit. I gotta break your chops a little bit.
Travis Slee, Monday morning at 10 a.m. after Key, Jay, and Max.
On 710 ESPN.
Sitting on a high, glorious hilltop overlooking the San Gabriel Mountains, you'll find the hottest bar and restaurant Los Angeles offers. Red Restaurant is an upscale dining experience where the finest steaks, freshest seafood, and most stunning cocktails are served. Enjoy a delicious meal while taking in the majestic views. Red is perfect for scrumptious breakfast, power lunches, and romantic evenings. Call 626-854-2509 or go to PacificPalmsResort.com to book your reservation at Red Restaurant today.
Travis Lee, live from LA Live.
Back Monday morning at 10 a.m. after KJM.
There's a lot going on, Slee, so people should come out and see us get our clocks cleaned at pickleball.
Well, and if you're not a pickleball person, if you want to watch real athletes, next as an example, I'll be practicing later this week on Thursday.
For the first time.
For the first time.
You know you hold it by the skinny end, not by the fat end.
Okay, I had it. Yeah, I had it on the. I was trying to use.
You hit it with the little stick part.
Yep, I was actually stabbing at it. Just get it back.
It's not fencing. It's
Why are you outside the lines? Oh, so we're inside the lines? Okay, got it.
You can't go in the inbox. The only place you can go is in the kitchen. That little sliver right before the net. That's all you can do.
We're going to look terrific.
I really
there.
Catch Travis Lee every weekday morning at 10 a.m. right here
on 710 ESPN.
I spend a lot of time in the garage, but even more time in the rain and mud. In 95, I helped tow your moving trailer. And in 09, it was sparks from me, your chains, dragging behind your truck that accidentally started a wildfire.
Spark a change, not a wildfire. Visit SmokeyBear.com. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Once upon a time, our family had trouble with pests around our home. Did you know that stinging insects send tons of people to the hospital? And teeny ticks and mosquitoes can be all around the yard. Their bites can make people and their pets sick. Mice, rats, and roaches need food and water just like us. You do not want them to visit. They can spread disease and make it hard to breathe. I'm sure glad this story has a happy ending.
Learn how to protect your family at pestworld.org. A public service message from the National Pest Management Association.
LA's mega sports station.
710 ESPN.
It's the Sports Center all night on ESPN Radio and on the ESPN app. Here's Jim Basquiat.
Yeah, we're back on Sports Center all night and back with the ladies.
And a career high for Aaliyah Edwards today for Connecticut. 28 points on 13 of 15 shooting from the floor. And the Big East champions move on.
Aaliyah Edwards, 28 points. UConn roused the 15 seed Vermont 95-52, giving Connecticut a 29th straight win in the tournament's opening round. They get their 26th 30-win season during Gino Auriemma's 38 years as coach. Sidney Parrish had 19, top seed Indiana past Tennessee Tech. 77-47. Hoosiers play without All-American center Mackenzie Holmes, who sat out with a sore knee.
The inbound comes, overshoots everyone, scooped up by Roberts, and that'll do it. The Knights have slain the Dragon for the second time in NCAA tournament history. A 16 has beat the 1, and the FDU Knights are that 16, knocking off number 1 in the East, Purdue, 63-58.
And Fairleigh Dickinson became just the second 16th seed in history to win an NCAA tournament game, stunning the top seed Purdue, a 63-58. FDU closed as a 23.5-point underdog, making it the largest upset by point spread since the tournament expanded to 64 teams back in 1985. And then there's this, Purdue, the first team ever to lose to a team seeded 13 or worse in 3 straight NCAA tournaments. FDU, the small-town team from Teaneck, New Jersey, now faces Florida Atlantic today. The winner earning a spot in the Sweet 16 at New York's Madison Square Garden. Seth Greenberg sizing up that tip.
Well, FAU plays 9 guys. In fact, their leading scorer comes off the bench, which is really an interesting thing for them. They're a terrific passing team. They're top 30 in offensive and defensive efficiency. They have a good Vladislav Golden is a 7-footer that, they can play through if they want. But really, it's going to be the perimeter game. This is probably a good matchup for FAU because they do have the guard play and the perimeter play to deal with the pressure of Fairleigh Dickinson. They've got more different ways to score. They can score interior. They can score, obviously, on the perimeter. This will be a high-paced game with good flow. It'll be a great spectator game. This will be a big-time game and a fun game to to watch tomorrow.
How about the night's top sounds all about a hoops with that March Madness flair? Ed Bacon has the details.
Number 5.
Jim, we start in the NBA and some dramatics in Utah with the Jazz edge the Celtics. Taylor Horton Tucker hits the game winner, the call from 97.5 The Zone.
Tucker to the front court with 18,000 people on their feet. He wipes his right hand across his chest, comes up a double stagger left to right, turns the corner, attacks the pin, lays it up and in. 118-117 Utah, 35 seconds to play. Palin, Horton, Tucker.
Number 4.
Now to the NCAA tournament. Top-seeded Houston was down by 10 at the half against Auburn, but rallied for the victory to advance. You get the call from Westwood One on the NCAA Radio Network.
Walker in the front court, 5 seconds remaining. Houston fans jumping up and down. The Houston Cougars on to the Sweet 16 for the 4th consecutive season. They outscore Auburn 50-23 in the second half after being down 10 in intermission.
Number 3.
Despite many picking the Blue Devils to go to the Final Four, Duke was bounced by Tennessee. The Vols defeat Duke. We get the call on Westwood One on the NCAA Radio Network.
Rebound, Filipowski. 5 seconds. He jogs it up. The final seconds fade. The horn hits 3 ball at the buzzer, an air ball. Tennessee staggered into the NCAA tournament, but is on to the Sweet 16. The Volunteers down Duke 65-52. Number 2.
Well, who had the Princeton Tigers in their bracket going to the Sweet 16? Princeton is on its way to the Sweet 16 after cruising past Missouri. We get the call again from Westwood One and the NCAA Radio Network.
Clock running down to 3, down to 2, down to 1. This one is over. It's official. It is history for the Princeton Tigers. For the first time in school history, Princeton is going to the Sweet 16. Just the 4th 15 seed ever in the history of the tournament to advance to the round of 16. Princeton 78, Missouri 63. The Princeton magic continues. The Tigers will play on in the South region.
Number 1.
There will be a new champion in the NCAA tournament. Kansas is out. Arkansas takes down the Jayhawks in dramatic fashion. We get the final call from Westwood One on the NCAA Radio Network.
Inbound pass comes to Arkansas. Bounce to Black. No foul. And Arkansas survives. The defending champs do not. 72-71. They'll be calling the Hogs all night in Des Moines. The 8th seed knocks out the returning champion Jayhawks.
How about that? WBC Jose Altuve left Venezuela's quarterfinal against the U.S. Hit on the hand by Daniel Bard. Stroh said they'll provide an update later today. How about what happened in the game?
Here's the 0-2. Swinging a fly ball. Left field. Deep. Did he do it? Grand slam! Trey Turner has just delivered a grand slam.
How about that? Trey Turner, an 8th-inning grand slam, U.S. over Venezuela, 9-7. They reach the semis against Cuba later tonight. You heard it on the WBC Radio Network. NHL, Rangers blank the Pen 6-0. David Pastrnak has 47. Bruins by the Wild 5-2. Evander Kane, Sebastian Aho, Brandon Hagel, hat-tricks, and wins for the Oilers, Canes, and Lightning. Defending champs Kansas ousted by Arkansas. 15-seed Princeton on to the Sweet 16. Thanks for staying up all night. For producer Cam Ursery and technical director Javon Cutler, I'm Jim Basquil. The best week ever is next.
Coming up Monday, as NFL free agency heads into the second week, I'll give you my under-the-radar signing.
The fun way to drive home is with Sedano and Cap.
Afternoons on 710.
I was petrified. It's true.
Are you?
But you know what, George? You'll survive. You know it, sucker. They will try and beat you down, but I will survive. They try and kill you.
Yeah.
They try and beat you down, hold you down. But I'm telling you right now, people, not I, we will survive.
It's Sedano and Cap, the LA Afternoon Takeover.
Monday at 4 p.m.
On 710 ESPN.
I noticed that my central vision started to blur.
The figures that are usually straight started to distort to become wavy.
What are these little dark spots with blurring that I'm seeing?
There's a blind spot like a blob over my vision now.
Is my vision lost forever? Why did I wait so long to see a retina specialist?
Retinal disease can steal your eyesight, but it doesn't have to. Patients who seek care from a retina specialist in a timely manner have the best chance of preventing vision loss due to age-related macular degeneration or diabetic retinopathy. AMD symptoms to look out for are distortion or warping of straight lines, as well as blurred or loss of central vision. Patients with diabetic retinopathy should seek treatment if they notice the appearance of spots or floaters or blurred and distorted vision. Don't delay seeing a retina specialist. It's worth the visit to save your vision so you don't miss out on life's precious moments, like seeing your grandchild grow up, enjoying a sunset with that special someone, or reading a good book. Visit seeforalifetime.org.
O'Reilly. Count on the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts to recommend the best products for your vehicle and budget. Get maximum cooling system performance for 10 years or 300,000 miles with Peak Long Life Universal Premixed Antifreeze and Coolant. Now just $6.99 after mail-in rebate. Limit supply. See store for details. Stop by your local O'Reilly Auto Parts today.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Will they find a home? Sponsored by Geico. Susan has always wanted to live in a chateau. I like a certain je ne sais quoi. While Jake is more into the Cape Cod style home.
It's a classic look.
Compromise is tough, but these two won't have to compromise when they bundle home and car insurance with Geico. It's easy, and they can save even more. In the end, Susan and Jake found a Cape Cod style home where they will only speak French.
Bonjour, je t'aime, merci beaucoup, and cordon bleu.
You'll get better with time. Bundling without compromise at geico.com.
The fun way to drive home is with Sedano and Cat. Whatever.
Are you just jealous that nobody's naming anything after you?
Not my high school football field, not the practice field, not even the urinal in the boys' locker room.
I know.
Sedano and Cap coming up Monday at 4 p.m.
on 710 ESPN.
1 in 3 adults has prediabetes. 1 in 3. That means it could be you, your football buddy, your football buddy, or you, your best man, your worst man, you, your dog walker, your cat jogger. While 1 in 3 adults has prediabetes, with early diagnosis, prediabetes can be reversed. Take the risk test at doihaveprediabetes.org. That's doihaveprediabetes.org.
Wait, did they just say 1 in 3 adults has prediabetes? That's 33.33333% of adults. That means it could be me, my boss, or my boss's boss, or me, my favorite sister, or my other sister. That's 7 members of my 21-person romantic book club. Wait, the 1 in 3 could be me, my karaoke partner Carol, or my karaoke enemy Jeff. I'm going to take the risk test at doihaveprediabetes.org.
Brought to you by
listen, I did 2 of those games. And he says, oh, was that one of those games where you were coughing at the end? Like there were multiple games. Final score, 24th ranked Texas A&M, 67. Second ranked Alabama, 61.
Canty and Carlin, weekdays at 3 Eastern on ESPN Radio, the ESPN app, and on Sirius XM Channel 80.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Mark Robbins. Man, this NCAA men's basketball tournament isn't disappointing. Unless you're a big fan of the number 1 seeds, another one bites the dust. 8th seed Arkansas in the West beats the top seed Kansas 72-71. Another 1 seed Houston in trouble at the half Saturday against the 9th seed Auburn, down 10. But that second half, a different story. All-American Marcus Sasser playing through a groin injury, finishing with 21 points. The top-seeded Cougars get the win, 81-64. And afterward, Sasser said the score was different in the second half, but not because of any great halftime moment, just a little realization.
There wasn't no yelling or anything like that. You know, we just came in, told us to fix our attitude. You know, just want to go home. You know, it's me, Reggie, and maybe Walt. You know, well, for sure Walt. Last year is here, so we didn't want to go home. You know, we wanted this season to go on as long as possible. So you know, we went out there, changed our attitude, and came out with the win.
That's Houston's Marcus Sasser. Number 1 Alabama also picked up a victory. Other second-round winners, the 15th seed Princeton defeats 7th seed in Missouri. Did so By 15, UCLA, Tennessee get wins. Tennessee knocks off Duke in the South. On to the NBA, Sixers getting 31 points from Joel Embiid, winning 8 straight, 141-121 over Indiana. Memphis knocks off Golden State, 133-119.
Hey, it's Greeny, and it's as good a time as you could possibly have on the sports calendar. We've got NFL free agency fast and furious, and the madness of March is upon us. This will be the place to talk about it. It's Greeny, starting 10 a.m. Eastern on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app.
Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max in the morning on LA's mega sports station. LA Sports Talk all day long. 710 ESPN.
Sports Center all night.
The big dance continues in the round of 32.
Walker crosses the timeline. He's got a 2-on-1. Drops it off inside and a lay-in for Reggie Cheney.
Another number 1 seed goes down.
He stares at Grady Dick. He lobs it for Walsh right in the circle, swinging for 3. That's catch and a lead for Arkansas. He took that one with grand confidence.
And Princeton Cinderella story alive.
Takes it into a wall in the left corner, splits a double team, works his way to the paint, kicks it out. Peters tees up another 3. He got it again.
The Warriors and Grizzlies rivalry headline the NBA tonight.
Bain from the top. Drives it. Euro step by Kuminga. Lays it up and in. Bain's got 26. Steve Kerr has seen enough. Grizzlies by 14. The 8th seed knocks out the returning champion Jayhawks.
Here's Jim Basquiat.
Yeah, 15 seed is again a winner, while a 1 is again done. Big Dan showing why it's madness in March. Welcome to Sports.
Number 1 Alabama also picked up a victory. Other second-round winners, the 15th seed Princeton defeats 7th seed in Missouri. Did so by 15. UCLA, Tennessee get wins. Tennessee knocks off Duke in the South. On to the NBA, Sixers getting 31 points from Joel Embiid, winning 8 straight, 141-121 over Indiana. Memphis knocks off Golden State, 133-119.
Hey, it's Greeny, and it's as good a time as you could possibly have on the sports calendar. We've got NFL free agency fast and furious, and the madness of March is upon us. This will be the place to talk about it. It's Greeny, starting 10 a.m. Eastern on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app.
The biggest names, the biggest games. They're all right here. This is 1050 ESPN, New York.
Sports Center all night.
The big dance continues in the round of 32.
Walker crosses the timeline. He's got a 2-on-1. Drops it off inside and a lay-in for Reggie Cheney.
Another number 1 seed goes down.
He stares at Grady Dick. He lobs it for Walsh right in the circle, swinging for 3. That's catch and a lead for Arkansas. He took that one with grand confidence.
And Princeton Cinderella story alive.
Takes it into a wall in the left corner, splits a double team, works his way to the paint, kicks it out. Peters tees up another 3. He got it again.
The Warriors and Grizzlies rivalry headline the NBA tonight.
Bain from the top. Drives it. Euro step by Kuminga. Lays it up and in. Bain's got 26. Steve Kerr has seen enough. Grizzlies by 14.
Sports Center all night.
The 8th seed knocks out the returning champion Jayhawks.
Here's Jim Basquiat.
Yeah, 15 seed is again a winner, while a 1 is again done. Big Dan showing why it's madness in March. Welcome to Sports Center all night on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app. ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. We have plenty ahead in the show, like the night in the NBA, where MVP favorites were in play, but we tip it off with another one on the ropes. This time, the defending Bucks had not lost a game, went up at the half all season, 26-0. Saturday, they were up 8 at the break against 8 seed Arkansas. But the Hogs came roaring back.
He stares at Grady Dick. He lobs it for Walsh, right of the circle, springing for three. It's Cash and a lead for Arkansas. He took that one with grand confidence, and it's 52-51 Hogs.
That capped an 11-0 run, first lead for Arkansas since 2-0. Then with the game tied at 65, the Hogs crashed the glass.
Screen from Johnson, high on the right counsel, crossover dribble, fires for two, around and out from the elbow. Offensive rebound follow is good for Johnson. Arkansas by 2, 50.5 to go from the low right. Kamani Johnson with 4 fouls.
You heard 2-point lead, under a minute to go. Kansas then needed to miss a free throw to get a rebound, to get a putback, to get the game tied, but they hit that free throw. So this is how it wound down.
Inbound pass comes to Arkansas, bounce to Black, no foul, and Arkansas survives. The defending champs do not. 72-71. They'll be calling the Hogs all night in Des Moines. The 8th seed knocks out the returning champion Jayhawks.
How about that? Westwood One NCAA Radio Network with the calls. Kansas national title defense ending in the second round. Ricky Council made 5 free throws in the closing seconds as the Razorbacks beat the number 1 seed Kansas 72-71. Devontae Davis was huge before fouling out at 25 points, 21 in the second half, and really he kept them afloat. Council adding 21 as Arkansas rallied from a dozen down in the second half. Kansas became the second top seed to not escape the tournament's first weekend after Purdue lost on Friday night to FDU. Arkansas coach Eric Musselman returning to the Sweet 16 for a third straight year. This was Musselman postgame.
Well, I've been coaching a long time. That's as great a win as I've ever been a part of. Again, because of the history of Kansas, because of some of their veteran players that were part of a championship team last year. A lot of people didn't think we were going to win our first round game. And I've continued to tell the guys internally, and I've continued to tell the staff that we are a team that continues to get better. That just doesn't happen this time of year, but because of all the circumstances that have happened, we're still evolving. We're still adding offensive plays. We're still adding defensive coverages. We're an evolving basketball team. I feel fortunate that these guys really buy into the prep.
And on the rise, Kansas without their Hall of Fame coach Bill Self, who underwent a heart procedure on March 8th. He had been with the team in Des Moines, but longtime assistant Norm Roberts served as acting coach over that 5-game stretch. Roberts, on his thoughts on the loss.
It was a tough game, a battle. Give Arkansas a lot of credit. They did a great job in the second half attacking us. Davis played out of this world, really made a lot of shots, but we knew he was good at doing that. And then they really hurt us on the glass. We had some rebounds we need to get. We didn't get them, but give them credit. They played very well in the second half.
And no question about that. Grady Dick had just 7 points. Big 12 Player of the Year Jalen Wilson took just 9 shots. SEC Network analyst and a former Arkansas player, Pat Bradley, was on prime time on what this win means for the Hogs.
It's just great to see when a team